Blackman.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and a pleasure to follow the Honourable Member for Hammersmith. This is a horrendously complicated issue in relation to both cladding, be it ACM, HPL, or other forms of inflammable cladding, but also fire safety measures and indeed the heights of buildings. I warmly welcome the fact that the government have come up with the money now to remedy the most unsafe buildings, namely the tall buildings and the cladding that was put on them that fails to actually provide safe accommodation for residents. The reality is that the £5.1 billion will only remediate the unsafe cladding and it will not do the comprehensive work. The issue then becomes one of the fire safety work that has to be carried out as well. And in that, there is no funding whatsoever to provide for that, and therefore has to be paid for by someone. Now, I have a series of suggested tests that could apply. The first is, emerging from the Grenfell inquiry, it is quite clear that the ACM cladding was illegal. Therefore, those responsible for developing the cladding, those responsible for putting it on the building, must pay for that to be remediated, and in all other buildings where that's the case. Similarly, in other forms of cladding which are unsafe, if they fail to actually accord with the building regulations as they existed at the time, then those people are the ones that should pay for the cost of removing it and correcting it. Now, the fire safety issues are ones that leaseholders could not reasonably have been expected to foresee when they bought their flats and bought the leases on their flats. So the fundamental issue here is, in terms of fire safety, is they should not be the ones that have to pay for the cost of remediation, either of cladding or of fire safety defects. Now, the government and my honourable friend, the Minister, has quite rightly said that as far as he's concerned, he finds the amendments defective. Well, my challenge to him, when he answers this debate then, is to make clear from the dispatch box that the government will bring forward proposals in the Lords to amend the bill to make sure that leaseholders do not pay. Now, the defence seems to be that the Building Safety Bill will eventually come through and be implemented. The problem with that is, having sat through the pre-legislative scrutiny, we've recommended at least 40 changes to that bill. It's going to take probably 18 months for that to reach the statute book, and then we have the secondary legislation. Leaseholders do not have the time. This work needs to be carried out now. The industry estimates that it's going to take some 4 years to actually implement all the safety works required, and it must be made clear that the leaseholders are not the ones to pay. At the moment, leaseholders can't insure their properties, they can't sell their properties, and no one wants to buy them. We are in danger of freezing the housing market because of this problem. So I urge the Minister, when he responds,